According to Goldman Sachs, robots that function like humans are on the rise. The company estimates that the humanoid robot market can reach $6 billion in 10 to 15 years and continue to grow from there. This industry could fill important parts of the job market. It could account for 4% of the US manufacturing labor shortage by 2030 and 2% of the global aged care worker shortage by 2035. Labor shortage issues in these areas like manufacturing and elderly care can be largely resolved. Robots and robotic technologies aren't new to work. Many low-skilled, repetitive tasks have already been replaced by robots, but there will be a continuation of existing applications, including industrial robots and autonomous vehicles with more complex integration. The growth forecasts in this sector show that humanoid robots could become a widespread end device, following only smartphones and electric vehicles. At its last Investor Day, Tesla demonstrated its Optimus humanoid robot and said it aims to ship millions of these units over the next 5 to 10 years. The company also wants to make robots cheaper than cars. That gives some clues to the future of humanoid robots, which would likely find their first applications in factories, and could be particularly valuable if they can work up to 8 hours a day. Of course, before such machines can take over the work currently done by humans, technological advances must be made and costs must be reduced in order to be competitive with the 2-year salary of a minimum wage. Militaries from all over the world have invested in robot soldiers. We have seen the videos of the incredible shooting accuracy and agility that humans can't compete with. And since robots tend to be made out of metal, carbon fiber, or other cutting-edge materials, they also tend to be more resistant to damage than flesh and blood human beings. This makes them useful for far longer than a human equivalent. Another use of robots is the education sector. It is hard for a single teacher to meet the learning pace of every student. And with the help of computer-based learning, the students will be able to learn easily at their own pace. It does not mean that the robots will replace the teacher, but will surely help them facilitate better learning. Apart from this, robots can also be used in homes, although some of them are already being used, like vacuum cleaners, the washing machines, but the humanoid robots could serve as much more and even be a part of families just like pets. Where investment opportunities lie right now. Goldman Sachs has compiled a list of stocks in its coverage universe that could benefit from the trend towards the introduction of humanoid robots in a few different areas. Goldman's coverage includes companies from China, Japan, Europe, and the US, and is not limited to buy-rated stocks. According to the release, Goldman Sachs currently sees the most visible investment opportunity in movement components. This is because there is a more mature supply chain of existing industrial robots and automation applications. There's also a long runway for potential growth. Goldman said investors can try to buy stocks like Aptiv plc and Magna International to capitalize on this growth. Some of the opportunities Goldman Sachs sees will take time to materialize, and it's not immediately clear whether the winners in this area will be on the hardware side, which makes robots, or on the software side, which develops the computer systems that run them. Jacqueline Du, executive director at Goldman Sachs, said, "We think it's still unclear going forward whether hardware or software will become the more important aspect of humanoid robots. Cost constraints will force players to find the right balance between the two. Previous startups couldn't reach the mass market because they couldn't cut costs. Future trials with humanoid robots will have to decide whether they can reduce the use of hardware components and let software take over the analytical role." Humanoid robots have always been a challenging field for scientists. It has gained significant attention over the past few years as companies like Boston Dynamics have gone viral with their robots that have human-like motions. Recently, Boston Dynamics and 5 other robot makers pledged not to weaponize their robots. They signed a pledge not to make any robots that can harm humans. In addition, more robot makers have been encouraged to follow this pledge, warning of nefarious use of robotics. These are some of the world's leading companies dedicated to introducing new generations of advanced robotics to society. These new generations of robots are more accessible, easier to operate, more autonomous, affordable, and adaptable than previous generations, and capable of navigating into locations previously inaccessible to automated or remotely controlled technologies.